Alright, I mean, I'll try my best, but I don't really even know how to do tricks yet, so it might not be that good. So I know that at this point it's been actually a little while since I made a video, and also, yeah, as you can see, I dyed my hair. I have ghost roots now. I don't know how well the camera picks that up, but that's my way of coping with finals, which is ironic because somebody left a comment telling me not to change my hair, but too late. But thank you for that comment. It's going to help me get through these last few days. Anyway, I know that this topic is definitely a lot more lighthearted than my last video, and I will say that it involves the same person, the same ex, but this was way before things got that bad. This was when we were actually together. So, I kind of want to give some background to the story by first saying, first mentioning my ex's friend, who this will mainly center around, and what she was doing at that exact time. See, this was probably a couple weeks after me and my ex first got together. And what was going on with her friend was basically her friend was hooking up with this dude or friends with benefits or some shit like that. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to hear about all that. But she would tell us anyway. She would tell both of us, her friend would. And what it sounded like was that she was just doing this because, but the entire time she actually really liked that guy's friend, which I will also say that in retrospect, because this was over a year ago, I would have approached this situation a little bit differently. Like, anyway, she said that she really had feelings for this guy's friend, so we're both like, oh, then why are you still fucking around with the other dude? Go after the guy that you actually like. And then she's like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. But then this is the first thing I would probably approach differently. When I met the guy that she actually liked, at the time I was like, oh, he seems nice enough. But looking back on it, the dude was obviously just a fuckboy. I don't know how else to put it. That literally that was his whole personality. He was the definition of a fuckboy with a receding hairline. But that's besides the point. I won't be an asshole. But at the time, I was like, oh, okay, he's nice. He's not outwardly a dick. Yeah, you should go for it. Me and my ex both were like, yeah, go for it. He'll obviously say yes. So, oops. So that's exactly what happened. She asked him out. I think what actually happened was they got high, and then she asked him out, and then he's like, yeah, I was gonna ask you the same thing. So at that time, me and my ex were like, oh shit, we're both matchmakers, we made this happen. We got her out of a dumb situation with the other guy and into an actual relationship. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't end well, but getting into the actual story now, about, I'd say, 24 hours and a little bit more after they got together, right? So it was late at night at this point. It was probably 11 p.m. We were hanging out in the lobby of the dorm like we would normally, and basically my ex's friend and the boyfriend were like, hey, do you guys want to come to In-N-Out with us? And once again, maybe double date is a little bit of an exaggeration in the title, but technically speaking, this was the first and also the by far the dumbest double date that I've ever been on. But we're like, yeah, of course. So we go to their car, right? I forget who's driving, but we go to their car, we get in the back, and already I'm like, this is fucking stupid because basically one of them, whoever's driving, turns on this really really loud bass driven rap music that's shaking the entire car and generally also just sucks ass. And honestly, it's a genre of music that I haven't even heard in a long time. Really hard bass rap, and every single lyric has something to do with either pussy or dick. So I'm surrounded by this, surround sound speakers in the car. And keep in mind, right, these two people, the new match made in heaven, they're singing along to it. And they're both screaming the N-word along the song whenever it would say it. And like they're both white, by the way. So I'm just like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Like, I'm this terrible music is being blasted into my ears while these like white people are screaming the N-word along to it, having the time of their lives. I'm like, how do people do this shit? But anyway, we eventually get to In-N-Out after like my ears are fucking destroyed. We get to In-N-Out and we order, but for some reason the cashier didn't hear the order. So like me and my ex, we were gonna share a fucking grilled cheese, and they didn't even get that written down. So now we just have nothing. But I didn't even care because I didn't even want to. I didn't really even want the grilled cheese. But I'll stop complaining about food. So this entire time, right, where we're like sitting across from each other, like it's once again like it's a double date. Like it was just kind of awkward because it was a weird time where like they were together for 16 hours and me and my ex were together for like 2 weeks. So it isn't like getting to know each other, and it also isn't like, oh yeah, we're both couples who've been together forever. And I guess, after not eating our food, once we go back and we're away from the other couple, my ex was like, dude, he was checking both of us out the whole time. Not me, not me. He was checking out his girlfriend and also my ex. Like, and I'm like, oh God. Like, how did I not pick up on that he would be the type to do that? But yeah, I guess that was literally what he was doing the entire time. He was switching between like staring at each of their boobs, which is fucking insane. So I'm like, please don't tell me I was doing that. And she's like, no, like, trust me, you weren't. He actually was, without a doubt. He was just checking us both out the whole time. And I'm like, all right, well, at least we got through it. Sick, you know? And then over the next 3 days, we keep getting updates from her friend about what's going on in their relationship, including, like, it's all like sexual stuff, by the way. But for some reason, she loved telling us that. But she's like, oh yeah, like we did it in the shower, we did it without protection, like all this shit that I guess wouldn't really be necessary for us to hear. And then 3 days later, they broke up, and basically what happened was he broke up with her. And I think, if I remember this correctly, because this was over a year ago and I kind of just forgot about it after, but if I remember it correctly, I think what he said to her was like, I don't see this working out long term. Oh, also, I heard about what you were doing with my friend. And I remember hearing that and I'm like, oh, like maybe I should have thought about that. Like, because it was like those guys were like best friends. I'm like, oh, like maybe I should have considered that if he knew about that, then he wouldn't even be okay with the relationship. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I don't give a fuck. The entire thing was like really, really stupid. But yeah, her friend kind of has a reputation as well for being in relationships that last about that long, about 4 days. That was, I think, the average for her was about 4 days, not gonna lie. But I won't lie, this actually like had a strain on our relationship because before, right, when we first got them together, we're like, oh, we're matchmakers. Like, we got her to stop messing around with some guy she doesn't even like and go for a guy that she actually does like successfully. And then after they broke up, we're like, what did we just do to these people? Like, did we just fuck up their lives? Like, is this our fault that now they're both processing a breakup? And I felt really bad for like a while about it. But at the same time, like, no, you can't. I couldn't pin that shit all on me, since those two actually thought that they liked each other and actually got together. But I don't know. I wanted to sort of take a break from telling the really heavy stories like the last one, or I guess the last three since I came back. They're all pretty heavy. Obviously, the very last one before this one was just fucked up. But I thought that I would tell something that's more of just a specific story and is a lot more lighthearted than that. Who knows? maybe the next video will be something really fucked up again. I also am curious to see if this gets views, or like why my channel has had a bit of a resurgence lately. I don't know if it's just because the topics have been really messed up, or if it's just the new format, with the skating and then the story time, but I don't know. Let me know. Let me know how you found my channel. I've noticed there's also been a pretty big difference in the sense that I looked at my channel statistics, and my channel used to be, I'd say, 85% male, 15% female, right? Those were my statistics. And over the last few videos, it's been 75% female, 25% male. Which I don't know why that changed, but that's a very big difference. And I don't know, I find YouTube statistics really interesting. But yeah, I guess let me know how you found my channel, if it was just on your front page or what, or if you were searching for it, suggested videos, shit like that. I don't know, let me know also if you're interested in just hearing stories like this, where it's more just across a 1 week event rather than the stuff that I've been telling where it's across multiple months, the backstory. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to try to get better at skateboarding as well. But goodbye. I have to go do my finals.